You look good, yeah, I know. You look good, baby. You look good, yeah, I know. You look good, baby. You look good, yeah, I know. You look good, baby. You look good, yeah, I know. What? Because, what's understood don't even need to be explained. But, you know the skin is giving. You know what's glowing. Hair, bodysuit, we don't even have to talk about it for real, but let's just get into the episode, because, we're going to be here all day, because I'm so obsessed with myself. Let's just go. Welcome to the Barbie Life 2.0 podcast. I'm your host, Shakira, aka Barbie 2.0. And today I wanted to talk about female friendships and just cutting people off or falling out with people. And I know this has nothing to do with colorism or racism or texturism, even though I will say those things do play a role in a lot of female friendships, but we'll get to that. But, I did want to have this discussion because I was having a conversation with my boyfriend yesterday, and I was telling him how it's really hard for me to make genuine female friends. And he was so confused because I've been living in the same town for about 7 years and I still don't have any friends. And he came to the conclusion that I must be the problem and I must be driving people away, and that's why I'm always falling out with people. And I had to check him because I was like, babe, you're a whole man. You don't get how female friendships work. Male friendships and female friendships are very different. Men don't have standards when it comes to their friends. Men will literally be friends with somebody just because they like the same color. Whole time that person could be a hater. That person could be stealing from them. But men don't have standards. Literally, they don't when it comes to their friendships. Women, however, we have standards when it comes to our friendships. Literally. Okay? So, I just couldn't stand the fact that he was trying to make it seem like I was the issue, when in reality, I just have boundaries and standards. And most people who do not have friends, or they're always falling out with people or cutting people off, those are the people who simply have standards and boundaries, and they value themselves and their energy, and they want to make sure that they're surrounded by positive, like-minded individuals. And I think this whole narrative has been formed because people associate cutting people off or falling out with people with drama, when in reality, 90% of the time, it has nothing to do with that, okay? A lot of the time when people cut people off or when people fall out with people, it's because there's a difference in morals and values, okay? And it's just stuff that we shouldn't be arguing about. For example, I used to be friends with this one girl, and she literally asked me if she could hook up with the guy that I used to mess with. And I told her straight up, no, that would not make me comfortable. She went behind my back and hooked up with him anyways. And she ended up telling my best friend about it. So right then and there, I just cut her off. I didn't even open the opportunity to have a conversation with her about it, because I already told you that it made me uncomfortable for you to go sleep with this guy that I had been sleeping with previously. And you still went ahead and did it behind my back anyways, which shows me you don't have respect for me. I'm not going to entertain a conversation with somebody who has already shown me that they don't have respect for me. And then on top of it, we just have a difference in morals and values. Because there are women out here who just have the simple understanding of, I'm not touching any man that my friend has touched or talked to. But there are some women who don't have those morals and values, and they think it's okay to sleep with their friend's mans or to sleep with their friend's ex. But there are women that are just not going for that. And me personally, I'm not about to sit here and go back and forth with you about you sleeping with my ex or you sleeping with somebody I previously. No, I'm not going back and forth with you at all. If that's even a conversation that's brought up, we don't have the same morals and values, and we just have to separate. It's as simple as that. And it's no beef. It's just We don't have the same morals and values. And that happens with a lot of people where you guys just don't align. Like there's certain morals and values that are just not the same, and the friendship will not work because of that. And it's okay. And it's not even just morals and values also. It's also just having the same goals or being aligned on the same frequency, okay? Because there's a lot of people who are negative Nancy's, okay? There are a lot of people who are just very low vibrational, and their energy is just very draining. You ever have a friend that just always complaining about something, or a friend that's always calling you to complain about her toxic boyfriend, and they just like sitting in their misery without actually trying to get themselves out of that situation? Yeah, like there are literal people like that who will attach themselves to others just so they can be leeches and drain them of their energy. So sometimes you just got to cut people off just because their energy is draining, and misery loves company, and you're trying to grow and elevate as an individual. And if you're surrounded by somebody who just keeps complaining and is complacent in their misery, they're just going to drag you down with them. You know what I mean? And it's also just like having the same goals as well. Some people do not have ambition, period. And I've learned this in my adult life. It's really hard being friends with people who don't have the same ambition and drive as me, because I'm constantly always looking for ways to make more money. I'm constantly always looking for more ways to learn about the stock market and just become a better individual overall. And there are some people who just are not interested in any of that shit. Okay? Like there are some people who just do not want to become a better person. They do not want to better their financial situation. They don't want to do any of that. And they don't have the same goals or ambitions at all. So it's hard being friends with somebody like that, because sometimes you'll try to even put ambition in them. You know, you'll try to motivate them to have the same ambition as you. And then when they don't, you just feel super drained, because it's like, oh my God, I keep pouring into this person. I keep trying to make this person grow, and I keep trying to make this person be on the same type timing as me. And they're just not doing it. And it's because a person will only grow if they take that step themselves. You can't pull a person out of their bumness. Simple as that. And most of the time, the amount of ambition somebody has is directly tied to how they were raised, which is also a key component in why a lot of relationships and friendships fall out. For example, I'm a first generation eldest daughter to an immigrant mother. Okay. So the way I was raised to pretty much be the second mom, but also be very, very hyper independent. So I've always been striving to get my own shit. Like ever since I was 16, like I never really asked my mom for money. I never even asked her to drive me places. Like I always handled stuff on my own, because that's just how a lot of first gen eldest daughters are raised. We're raised to be adults by the time we're like 10 years old. You know what I mean? So because I'm really independent and ambitious, I found it very hard for me to be friends with girls who have both parents in the home that fund their whole entire lifestyle, or girls who are only child, for example. Like I remember there was this one girl I was friends with, and her dad, like she was a daddy's girl. Her parents paid for everything for her. That girl never had to work a day in her life. And it was so hard for me to be friends with her, because her reality was just kicking back and relaxing and having things handed to her. My reality was that I had to work hard to get the lifestyle that I want. I don't get that stuff handed to me. So just off of that alone, that already caused so much friction in our friendship, because we just had different mindsets. We had different ambitions, and we just literally were built different. And that's the best way to put it, honestly. So some people who are raised differently than you don't align with your future as well. I'm sorry. So it is hard being friends with people who are not raised the same as you. It is. And, you know, from personal experience, I recently had cut a lot of friends off in my life around last year. And then around this year, I ended up cutting some more people off. And it was because I'm just growing and ascending as a person. And for example, I stopped smoking and drinking and vaping. So I only want to be surrounded by individuals who don't smoke or drink or vape. And it's not any beef to people who do smoke, drink, or vape, but I have to be surrounded by individuals who have the same lifestyle as me, which is very important in friendships as well. So just like, you know how sometimes married women will be like, I don't want to be friends with single women because I'm married. It's the same thing as that. Sometimes there are just certain friendships that don't fit or align with you because you guys have different lifestyles. You know, if you don't drink or smoke, you shouldn't be friends with somebody who does drink or smoke. If you're married, it's going to be very hard to be friends with somebody who's single. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is hard, you know? So different lifestyles as well also contribute to friendships falling out. And, you know, as a true friend, you're supposed to build each other up and invite opportunity for you both to grow. But a lot of people do not want a friend that's going to help them grow. They just want a yes man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to have a lot of friends who would come and call me and complain about their toxic situations with their boyfriends or with their situationships. And every time they would come to me with a problem, I would straight up provide a solution. I would not sit here and enable toxic behaviors to continue. And I will not sit here and coddle you while you keep repeating the same toxic behavior or allowing the same toxicness in your life. I'm going to give you a solution. And if you don't take it, do not drain me with that anymore. And a lot of bitches don't like that. A lot of bitches don't like when you set a boundary and you let them know, like, girl, I'll give you advice, but after that, you can't drain me anymore. You know? So it's a lot of people that don't want a friend that's really going to hold them accountable and be honest with them. They just want a yes man or somebody that's just going to sugarcoat things. And that's not me. I mean, y'all already know that is not me. Okay? Like, come on now. And a lot of people don't talk about this. But sometimes in life, you got to cut people off because they put you in a certain box. And when you start to grow and become a better person and you step outside of that box that they put you in, they get very offended and they get so jealous and envious to a point where you can't even be around them anymore because they don't want to see you grow anymore. So they're just going to keep trying to put you in this box like, oh, this is who you used to be. Oh, well, I don't know why you trying to act like you do this because I remember 5 years ago, you were doing so-and-so. Like, they're always trying to bring up your past and bring up who you used to be. They won't give you an opportunity to grow and actually become a better person. They like to keep you in that box, for example. You know, like, for example, when I was in high school and middle school, I was the uncool girl. I was the girl that everybody was making fun of. I was the girl that nobody wanted to be friends with. And the minute I left high school, I started my social media and I ended up blowing up and becoming TikTok famous in a way. Okay. And what I noticed was a lot of the friends that I had in high school did not like the fact that I went from being the uncool girl to the social media influencer who's very popular. They didn't like that I grew into a confident dark-skinned girl. They liked seeing me in an insecure state. They liked seeing me as the uncool girl because it made them feel comfortable. Okay, a lot of people like to keep you complacent in that box because it makes them feel comfortable about the fact that they haven't grown yet, or it just makes them feel better because when you were put in that box, they may have felt like they were better than you. Okay, and when you start to surpass them in life, they don't want to accept the fact that you have stepped outside of that box and you've grown into a better individual. So like a lot of my friends from high school, they literally, they couldn't stand the fact that I was no longer the uncool dark-skinned girl. I was now the popular social media influencer. They didn't like seeing that transition because, again, they only see me in this box of being the insecure dark-skinned girl. So the minute I started loving myself, the minute I started being confident, it was a threat to them. Now they felt offended because who am I to do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's another one. And honestly, I'm just going to speak from my personal experience. When you are the big three as a woman, it's really, really hard to make female friends. It's as simple as that. And when I say big three, I mean pretty, smart, educated, have a career, have motion, and kind. When you are all three of those things, it's really, really hard to make genuine female friendships. And I'm going to break it down for you. Okay. I'm going to explain why. Okay. Let's start with the first component. When you're pretty. Okay. When you're pretty as a girl, a lot of women will only want to be friends with you so they can be close in proximity to your pretty privilege. So they can reap the benefits of your pretty privilege. So if you get free sections when you go to the club, or you normally go to the bar and get free drinks, they want to be friends with you so they can get the benefits that you get from your pretty privilege. So, oh, well, if I go out with Shakira, then I'll get a free section because she gets a free section. And we're together. We're friends. I'm associated with her. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of women who do that. Okay? And the thing about it is, women will become friends with pretty women just so they can be close in proximity to your pretty privilege. But the minute their ego creeps in, now it's all jealousy and envy, because they cannot stand the fact that they have a friend that's prettier than them, or a friend that gets more attention than them. So oftentimes when you're a pretty girl with discernment, you can peep that stuff very quickly. So you're quick to cut people off, or you're quick to not even let people have access to you from the jump, because you already know, yeah, no, this girl's not genuine. She only wants to be friends with me for my aesthetic. And then when you combine being pretty and also having motion, like being educated, being smart, having a career, whatever, that is also a setup for disaster in female friendships. And here's why. Being pretty is not hard. It's not uncommon. There's a lot of pretty women out here in the world, okay? And there are some women out here who are pretty bums, and they're just waiting around for a man to start their life for them, because they have this mindset that they don't have anything to offer to this world but their pretty looks. So when they see another pretty girl use her brain as well and understand the fact that she has more to offer to this world than her pretty looks, it intimidates the pretty bum. Because now the pretty bum has to realize that she really is just a bum with a pretty face. And that only gets you fucked. That doesn't get you far. Okay?
Clock it.
And in addition to that, when you are pretty and you have motion, you make the ugly bitches with motion mad as well. Because they can't figure out how to do both. And they're mad at you because you figured out how to do both. Literally. And then on top of it, when you have motion, it's very easy for people to come into your life to use you. So that's another one as well. And then let's not even add in if you have clout of some sort. It's a lot of people who just try to be friends with you simply because of that as well. Because of the privileges that come with having a social media presence. So, you know. And then on top of it, when you're pretty and you have motion and you're kind, you're too perfect, because a lot of people cannot achieve all three. So when you do achieve being pretty and having motion and being kind, it makes them feel away because they weren't able to do that. So now they have to take one away. And oftentimes when you're conventionally attractive, they can't deny your prettiness. And when you have motion, they can't deny the fact that you got motion. So the best thing to attack is your character. So oftentimes you'll notice that the pretty girl with motion is the girl that a lot of people start rumors about, and the girl that a lot of people gossip about, and the girl that a lot of people say is a bitch. But when you actually meet that pretty girl with motion, you realize that she was chill as fuck. And you're like, why does everybody say that she's a bitch? Literally. Like, and I've had that experience myself. Like, do you know how many people tell motherfuckers that I'm a bitch and like I'm just so rude, and then once people actually meet me themselves, they're like, I don't know why people keep telling me you're a bitch, you're chill as fuck. And I'm like, yeah, because you're listening to weird ass bitches. Literally. Like, it's as simple as that. And the thing about it is, when you have your discernment on point and you peep shit and you have boundaries as a pretty girl with motion who's kind, you make the motherfuckers who don't have access to you mad. Because there's a lot of motherfuckers who want to be friends with you, but when you don't let them have access to you, they turn into a hater. And then they'll start recruiting other people to hate you with them just because they really want to be next to you. They really want to be your friend, but you won't allow them that access. And that in itself makes them go insane to the point where now they got to defame your character and go out and try to recruit other people to hate you with them. So just because a girl has like a group of people who are hating on her, that should not be an indication that the girl is the problem. If anything, the group of people hating on her are the issue. And the thing about it is, I ain't even mention being a dark-skinned girl or being an overweight girl. That's the big three. Because, child, oh my God, that's a different level of destruction for female friendships, okay? Because one thing about it, when you are a dark-skinned girl or an overweight girl and you're still pretty and you have motion and you're kind, you make the girlies who are brainwashed very uncomfortable because you're rewriting the beauty standard. And you're also letting them know that even though the odds were stacked against you, you still came out on top. And that makes a lot of people intimidated. Because now they have to come to terms with the fact that BBLs don't equal pretty, light skin doesn't equal pretty, skinny doesn't equal pretty, and being white doesn't equal pretty. For example, I used to have a light-skinned friend, and she literally would pick fights with me over the smallest stuff. And I never understood why she would get so mad over little things. And I noticed that other people would dead ass like betray her in the worst way, and she would not flip out on them at all. Like, she had friends sleeping with guys that she was fucking on. She had friends talking bad about her behind her back. She had friends like betraying her left and right, and she would never say anything to them. But me, for example, I would like breathe the wrong way and she would literally like have a whole temper tantrum and flip out on me. And I never understood it. But the thing is, a lot of people already don't like you. They're just waiting for that one situation where they can validate it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like you the whole time, but they're just waiting for that one thing so they can be like, oh yeah, that's why I don't like her. But it's like, nah, you hated me the whole time, sis. You did. And when it came to her, I realized that the reason why she was always picking fights with me and fighting over like little stuff is because she got really, really, really intimidated by the fact that I was a pretty, skinny, dark-skinned girl who got more attention than her. Because every time me and her would go out, people would literally go up to me and be like, oh my God, you're literally so gorgeous. Your skin is so beautiful. And they would literally disregard her existence. And that made her feel some type of way because as a light-skinned girl with a big butt, she felt like she should be getting more attention. And when she had that rude awakening, that made her feel some type of way. And as a result, that ended up making our friendship have so much friction. Because she was dealing with so much insecurities and projecting it onto me, which is what a lot of women do. So when you don't even fit what the beauty standard is and you still are the big three, it's going to be very hard to make genuine friends. It's as simple as that. Like, you know, if you fall out with people a lot or you cut off people a lot or you just don't have any friends or you have little to no friends or 1 to 2 friends, do not feel bad, okay? Do not feel like you are the problem, okay? That just means that you have boundaries, you have standards, and you value yourself and the energy that's around you, which is very, very good. And a lot of people do not know how to do that. And it's a lot of people who don't even know how to be alone and spend time with themselves. And that right there is an issue in itself where you need to go to therapy if you don't even know how to spend time by yourself. Because like one thing about it, me, like I'll go to a bar by myself. I'll go sit at a restaurant by myself. I'll go to the city by myself. Like I'll go to a different country by myself. Honestly, I did that when I was 6 anyways. So like one thing about me, I'm very, very hyper independent, you know, but there's a lot of people who are not like that. They need people to go to dinner or they need people to be with them all the time for them to just do something like, and that's why those types of people are normally surrounded by the big friend groups because they got so much inner work that they got to take care of. And it's just a bunch of like-minded broken individuals who don't have any self-love and just project onto each other constantly and betray each other. So it's like, I'm good off that. I'd rather be alone than be in a friend group like that or be in friendships like that, period. So it's like, if you don't have friends and all that stuff, girl, don't even feel bad, okay? Don't. They're going to try to paint it like you're the villain, but you're not. You're not, okay? And I just felt like I had to come on here and talk about it because, you know, my boyfriend pissed me off when he was trying to tell me that yesterday. And I was like, boy, I know you're not talking to me like this. And I'm like, you know, I know Barbie Gang is going to understand what I'm talking about. So let me get on here and talk about it. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Shakira, aka Barbie 2.0. And I do talk about colorism, texturism, and featureism and any issues in the Black community. But, you know, I do pop out with episodes like this sometimes. So, you know, if you're loving me, which I know you are, you might as well just like, comment, and subscribe. But I love you guys so much, and I'm keeping up with my promise. I told you I was going to be posting more frequently. I told you I got off the vaping, I got off the smoking and the drinking. I said, it's game time. It's game time. It's game time. Okay? But I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. Peace out.